I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have roll call, please.
Dykstra,
Here.
Cargill, here, Rayburn,
Here.
Belinda.
Here.
Heike, here.
Okay. Was there something you wanted to add to the agenda?
Yes, we need to add the Heroes operation on number 3 in new business. They want the road closure for their parade to the dunes.
Do we have a motion for that or anything else that needs to be added?
I'll make that motion to add it.
Whatever.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All opposed, say no. Okay. I think I did that backwards, didn't I?
Yep, you did, that's okay.
Okay. We have any questions on the minutes?
No, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Support.
All in favor, say yes. Yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no. All right, do we have any correspondence?
I didn't. Must be not.
Nothing, huh? How about the treasurer's report?
Okay, we do have that. In our investment account, general fund has $607,469.22. The road fund has $181,549.07. The capital improvement fund has $472,507.91. The Silver Lake Trail has $12,306.39. And the park fund has $2,162.58. Cemetery has $62,980.30. And the fire has $100,323.54. And in our checkbooks, cash accounts, capital has $2,508.56. The general fund cash has $211,257.42. The municipal street fund, the road fund has $35,288.98. Silver Lake Construction has $2,344.24. And the tax fund has $1,536.64. And that is the $1,000 to keep the account open, which belongs to the general fund, and the 536 is partially interest and the commercial forest that hasn't been distributed yet. And the trust and agency has $4,181.01. That includes its balance of $356.01, and this $38.25 that is a deposit in that account is what Shelby Olson, Macwood's Community Foundation Fund sent in for the bands. So she sends it all in one lump sum, and then I'll make her out the 5 or 6 checks, however many bands we got. And that will come out of trust and agency rather than the general fund. That way it doesn't get mixed up.
Any questions?
No questions? Okay, we got a bunch of checks. I had to add 3 checks onto what I sent out to you. 1 for Xerox, 1 and 2 for the Michigan Municipal League, which is the $600 one is our workers' comp, and the other is our property liability coverage.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Support. Could we have roll call, please?
Okay. Belinda,
Yes.
Extra,
Yes.
Cargill,
Yes.
Highteen, yes, Griffin.
Yes. All right, into reports. So, start with zoning. We have 41 zoning permits so far this year, with 13 of them being new homes. 228 rental permits to date, and we've had a couple that have paid the double because they were late coming in. I did send you guys this House bill that talks about, speed limit changes that could be changed. It's just something to look at if that's something we want to deal with. Hopefully you guys got that when I emailed it. Nothing major at this point, but something maybe we might want to look at. And then our new zoning official, Brad, has resigned, and we will talk about our new zoning official coming up. And that's all I have for zoning. How about fire?
Fire department, I'll let Jake go over the nuts and bolts of the meeting, but yesterday we had a fire in our community. Lost a nice house. And I wanna address the hiccup that we had. The fire barn filled 5 trucks. After the 5th truck, the well quit working. It took us approximately 12 minutes to figure out that the amp setting was set at 20 amps for the override on the well. We need 30 amps to make that run at a continuous pace. I just happened to walk in when it went down, and they were packing up. They sent 2 trucks to Hart. By the time they went to Hart, filled 2 trucks, and they were on their way back, we had it up and going. We had a truck already filled and headed back. So the well is much quicker than running the Hart to go to a hydrant, opening that hydrant and getting it filled and run it to the back to the fire. Chuck from Blackmer was amazing. I called Blackmer Electric, told him what was going on. Chuck got on the phone. He had somebody in the area. Wasn't 3 minutes, they came in and they opened that panel, figured it out. We had that well up and going. So we still couldn't get those trucks filled fast enough. It went so quick, and we had such a good response from, I believe there was Riverton, Barry, Hart, Water, and Shelby running Grant, running pumper trucks. And any one time we had 2 or 3 trucks waiting to be filled. But it was so much quicker to do it with the well. It takes less than 2.5 minutes to fill those trucks. So we had a 12-minute hiccup. It was addressed. I stayed for an hour and a half afterwards, and we never had a problem after that. So it worked really well. And it was our first time that we had to use that well. And by having that well there, we were able to use the ladder truck from Water to turn that on and really douse that fire. Because we could get the water there quick enough. So that was nice. I will say in that we need to add concrete.
Absolutely. I thought it was funny when they put that drive-in the way they did anyway.
So the reason I say we need to add concrete, we could go, we could hook one line up and start filling it, have another one staged, but the problem is we're blocking all the doors. And if we had a dune incident where we had to get the dune truck out, we'd have to unhook a truck, move the truck out of the way to get the dune truck out, or if we had other equipment that we have coming, which I'll talk about in a minute. We need to shift everything over to the west just a little bit. If we could stage 4 trucks along there, we could put a wide pipe in on the well, throw a balls out on one, fill it, have a hose hooked up to the next one. And then when that one's full, start filling this one, unhook, pull that one out, have one ready to go, put that hose on that truck. When this one's done, turn it off, start filling this one, getting ready to load this one, back and forth, it would work so much better. So I'd like the township to consider 30 more feet to the west to the road for filling, and it would go so much quicker. It's saving probably a minute, maybe a little, but it just would flow so much quicker and better.
So that amp thing that they had to change, does it stay up to where? They
It's
set
just a dial on
Yeah,
it, it was set at 20 amps, and we didn't know, we never filled that much water. What do
Right.
you do with
Yeah.
those trucks hold thousands of gallons of water and
but I mean, is that always gonna stay there
It's-
now?
yeah.
So we don't have to worry
Nope.
about it?
you don't have to worry about
Okay,
it.
I didn't know if it was something that was
It's-
turned down so you wouldn't.
Nope, it's
Okay.
just a setting,
Okay.
and we had no way of knowing until we
Yeah.
actually used it. So,
He set it at 42,
yeah,
so it's actually more than the 30, so we
Yeah.
should be good to go.
correct,
Aren't those breakers set at, the breakers are 50,
50 amps, but
Yeah.
the pump runs a continuous at 30 amps.
right?
So you don't want the pump to get too hot and then burn up. You can run it up to 50, but it's not necessary.
Right.
You can set it to 100. Well, you can
Yeah.
burn up a pump,
Right,
It should have originally been set at that,
probably.
cause when we had that installed, they knew that it was 50 amps.
Right,
So,
so it pulls 30 amps and probably on startup, moving the well on and off, it's gonna pull a little bit more.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
so we went to 42 and we didn't have a problem. Nothing got hot, nothing, it worked perfectly after that.
Nice.
So it was great.
Mhm.
So. Part of the fire department meeting, I'm gonna go into Jake's stuff a little bit, was, Pre-runner Invasion donated $9,600 to the fire department to buy equipment for the Silver Lake sand dunes. We talked about this last month. With that $9,600, they wanted to purchase a side-by-side, so the fire department. Jake had made a motion there to spend up to $35,000 to buy a side-by-side for the Silver Lake sand dunes. It passed, so they were getting ready to buy, but one of the people from the pre-runner invasion called and said, do not order that side-by-side. They are writing the check completely for a side-by-side for the dunes. And they're going to put the lights and sirens, and they're writing the whole check,
Wow.
completely paid for.
Absolutely.
So we have in our community, a person who donated side by side for rescue for our dunes that will be parked inside that building.
Great,
So that was a nice little ad.
yeah, absolutely.
Jake?
That's a hard act to follow. Say it again. Our report from the chief told us that so far this year, not counting, this was at last week ago, last Thursday. We had 90 fire runs. Well, since then, I know of a couple more, that one and some others. And our medical first responders were at 105. We are starting to be pressured to do more. First off, when we set that up, it was only number one run, first runs,
Priority one.
priority one. Mine's work. Now they're starting to call us on priority twos and even some threes because our ambulance system is so far behind that we can get there a lot quicker. Problem with that is that's gonna start working on our men again, and that's one of our problems. So far, the county's been able to fund us okay, we're getting the money we're supposed to be getting, and we're staying above water as far as the expenses are, but going with twos and threes is gonna start putting an awful lot of pressure on it.
Don't they have to have more training for those?
No, those,
No.
number one, priority one is the important,
Oh,
that's heart
okay,
attacks and
okay,
life and death situations.
okay,
Two is accidents that are personal injury or whatever, but they're not real serious. and threes are like lift assists and help here and that kind of stuff. And we were supposed to not do those, but we're starting to get calls, so our calls are gonna increase and we're gonna be working on our guys a lot harder, so we'll see how that goes. We talked about the side by side, one of the things in the long range plan that the chief gave us was during this next year or so, they're gonna do a survey and a study on the equipment, the trucks that we have right now. They feel, the firemen feel, we have too many trucks and there's too much duplication, and some of those vehicles that can be, the use of them can be combined, so we can use it for more than one thing. And that will help us save some space in the barn, because the next trucks we get may have to be bigger and that sort of thing, so. The long range plan that they presented was very good. I complimented mine, so did some of the other board members, that the guys really did a good job setting that thing up, so. That's gonna give us about 10 years down the road, or maybe 20 years down the road, what we need to get and how we need to get it and what we need to take care of, so. Other than that, things are going pretty good at the fire department.
Thank you.
Okay.
Planning Commission.
All right. We had a meeting on the 27th. And it was decided that we would form some committees to review the renewable energy ordinances. And the second committee was formed to review the short-term rental ordinance. And then the third was the members of the planning committee are going to review a ordinance suggestion from the drain commission that we approve, and we'll review that then next. So that's all we have.
Okay, thank you. The park. Everything's going well. We had a great turnout for Jeep Invasion, and things went really smooth. Everything else is going well. Flags are up, flowers are planted.
Flowers are planted in the star, and Stephanie's working on the flower box and the park itself and some of those things, so, yeah.
Road. So we are having a meeting on Thursday with Mr. Timmer on 18th.
Yes.
And I know they've patched some roads. That's about all they've done so far. They're still moving forward. Have you seen?
They started mowing.
They did, yeah, that's right. They mowed across the street today. Yeah, but they haven't done
Get an
any of
answer
it.
on when they're gonna clean the bike trail
trail?
off.
Well, I hadn't heard from them, so we're gonna discuss that Thursday
Okay.
on that 18th Street thing. So,
Discussing that letter that you sent to him.
yeah, we're gonna discuss all that, yeah,
So make sure you
Yeah.
have that on your list.
yeah. So. Yeah, anything else? I don't think there was anything else we had on that. We just kind of wait for them to get started on their projects. The assessor.
Yes, I have the assessor report. In general, I've been entering PREs, PTAs, and reviewing deeds as they come in. Michigan Tax Tribunal, there's one case pending in small claims. The filing deadline for commercial and industrial properties was May 31st, sunset fell on a Saturday. The deadline is June 2nd, 2025. Filing deadline for ag and residential properties is July 31st of 2025. We have no pending deadlines for the state tax commission. And the board of review, the July board of review will be held on Monday, July 21st at 11 a.m. And that is it.
Okay, for unfinished business, emergency service building sign, I believe that's still being worked on.
It's kinda is, it, you wanna. The nuts and the bolts of every answer that I get from everybody I talk to is, you can name your building, what you wanna name your building. This depends on the services that you're gonna do in the building. And right now, we're using it as a storage facility.
18th Avenue drainage.
We're gonna meet with Emmer on Thursday, Bob.
Yeah, and see how that coincides with, the two hills that were gonna be flagged on Spencer and Wild Ridge. So that's still up in the air, and then road signs, I believe, we had something on there.
Good.
We did, we had two quotes. Or three,
We have
whatever.
Yeah,
The one that the post. is $74 or whatever it is for the replacement of the post. He told me that. If it's,
You done? What are we talking about on the post and the signs?
well, we have quotes from the county road commission to. Replace a post that was.
on 44th and Lake Road.
Yeah, on 44th and Lake Road. And I asked him, I said, where does your maintenance, where does your maintenance stop and our billing begin? And he said, well, this post was evidently not on a road sign, like a stop sign or a curve or a speed limit, or those are road signs. If it's children at play or bike path or something else of that nature, then it's ours. Because he doesn't care if it gets replaced or not. That's what he told me. It's not his problem. So the ones that are his problem are the actual road signs. So,
Then how about no parking? Are those?
no parkings are not his problem either, because we put those up, he said.
Okay.
That's what he said. I think we paid them to put it up,
Right,
put them up.
But we bought the signs.
right.
So we bought signs, so. So. We have three quotes, one for the post, one for the. I was right out there the other day, I forgot to look at that post that looks like it needs to be replaced.
So are there any questions on this? This is something that we wanna move forward with at this point. I think this is everything we've got, isn't it?
So we got three quotes on the same.
No,
No,
they're
no.
different,
They're all
Very-
different.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
24th and North Shore. And then the post on the lake.
Yes.
And what are these signs?
Road signs.
Just road signs,
These are
our
street
section.
signs, yeah,
They're just straight signs.
yeah.
So
I don't know.
we're talking
Almost.
300.
Doing it right now.
So
Yeah,
so
282.
580.
$657.
Any questions on that?
Well, if the road signs need to be replaced, I mean, we need to
Some of them,
replace them.
Yeah.
yeah, they're not
Yeah.
readable, so
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, let's replace these road signs or the posts.
And the post.
I'll support that. $600. Somewhere.
650, yeah.
57 and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Hey, Linda,
yes.
Extra,
Yes.
yes, Cargill.
Yes,
Draper.
Yes.
We need more signs repaired though, too. I mean, no parking signs. I mean, they're all faded.
Yeah, a lot of sandblasting,
Yeah,
yeah,
well, sun bleaching out or whatever.
yeah.
I know that when we were at the MPA last year, and I think I got a card from them. If the signs are taken down, they'll redo them on the existing sign, and it's about half the cost. But I don't know what's all about, and I mean, road commission need to take them down.
That's a quite good question.
We can ask him tomorrow or Thursday.
Yeah. Good question, because we could do it if we needed to. We have a maintenance person now.
That's right.
Okay, township roof bids.
I'm still working on it. I'm trying to get names of other companies. Other than the one company that we had,
Okay,
so.
okay. And then we're, on to the last thing for unfinished business is zoning official. So, Shelley Peel has agreed to become the new zoning administrator, and we, probably should do a motion to, accept her as that job title,
To appoint her
to appoint her to the position.
Before we do that. Some things that brought to my attention between Brad and Shelley and. You're probably the one most knowledgeable on this, but. I really feel that we need to talk about getting her own cell phone and cell phone line. So that at the end of the day, she can turn it off. She's not using her personal number for zoning. She's not using her personal phone for site plan reviews and texting and messages and taking photographs. If we were to get foiled, she'd have to turn over her personal records. And I don't feel that's right. So in the process of bringing Shelley on, I think we need to look at a phone plan for her and a phone. So that she can do her job on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If she has something else going on Tuesday and Thursday, she can turn it off and have her own time. This is an hourly job, but this is also a way of keeping track of the stuff that she's doing on her off days. If she chooses to turn it on, she turns it on and answers those phone calls. She's out on a site plan, she needs to take a picture, she has a question, she wants to text a contractor or something, she can do that. That's on the township phone, not her personal. I think we.
I was gonna talk with our IT guy about it,
Okay,
and, we got too involved the other day in other critical things with him, so I did it, but I will do that.
I think we should follow up on that
Yeah,
and look into that.
I would agree, yeah.
So what I got to say about that is I've always used my own personal phone and I could switch it over when I would leave the office and I could receive calls out of this office. But if I called them back, they would have my phone number.
Yeah.
And that made it kind of tough to do. So,
How many photographs did you take of site plans and sheds and setbacks on your phone?
I took lots of pictures of complaints.
Correct.
That,
That doesn't need to be on your personal.
no, and I don't know how that would go if it did go to court, you know, I'm sure they could.
Legal?
Right. If the township chooses to, it's always better to have that segregated.
individual.
Okay, okay.
So, having said that, are there other staff that should?
I'm already moving forward. I'm gonna probably buy, whether you wanna pay the bill or not, but I'm separating my personal phone number and my text messages and phones to the new township phone. I will assume the cost until the township agrees to pay that cost, but I have a personal cell phone. It's also my business phone, and my attorney told me that's enough.
Yeah,
So
well, yours is, yeah,
I've gotta move, I'm already moving forward on my own on that, so. And then at this time, once I get that number, they wanna publish that on the website, and somebody wants to talk about something in the township, they can call that number all day long. If I have time, I'll pick it up, and if I don't have time at the moment, I will call them back. Or text them or email, whatever it may be, but I gotta stop using my personal and business phone for township stuff.
So is that something that, and I don't understand phones totally, but is it something that if we were gonna buy numerous ones, could we have a group plan?
Oh, yeah.
Make it cheaper?
yeah,
And we don't need
But I
fancy iPhones and the
No.
latest and greatest. You need a phone call that, you don't need an unlimited plan, you don't need unlimited texting, you're only gonna use it when you have to have it, and there's Wi-Fi free here, maybe someday. But there's places you
Oh,
don't like that.
it's active right now.
Okay, there you go,
We have we have the Wi-Fi thing, like you can park out here and
there you go. So you don't need a big
use it, and
Wi-Fi
it's, and
plan.
it's not hooked to our township. I mean, I don't know if it's hooked or not, but it's separate from our
Yeah, ours is
township.
dedicated.
Yeah, ours is dedicated. But, I almost think if we could get the phones to use the business number. So that people are calling, they'll get 4413, they'll get that number and it'll say, do you want Bill, do you want Connie, do you want Rob? And
How do you text that way?
I don't know.
I don't think.
Don't ask hard pant.
Doesn't work.
No.
Oh. So you have to, in order to text, it has to go right directly to that number.
And I'll tell you what, texting, worked great in the 12-minute panic,
Yeah.
when I was at a fire barn yesterday. And, between the chief and, he can't take a phone call that he can.
Yeah. I don't know. I have trouble keeping track of one
So-
phone, let alone.
I'll hold off for a little bit, but I am already doing that for myself personally, for some fact. I got to, but I
Yeah.
think she is more important than anybody to do her job and do it. I'll agree with that.
It's a little different for you, Bill, I mean, running a business.
It's way different
I mean,
for him.
For me, I don't have a problem with it, using my.
I
personal-
use mine a lot and I don't really either.
Yeah. But with a Rob should, I mean, that's, and having, not that expensive to have one additional line. So,
It's, yeah,
Since you're looking into it, could you look into a package deal for it?
yeah, no problem. Yeah, because
Thank
you have a provider that you wanna like better than others, or just want me to get a couple of quotes? AT&T and Verizon seems like they're the only thing that moves here, anybody
I would
else?
say, yeah,
AT&T I have and it works really good
yeah,
all over. I mean, it's,
Verizon does too, so I think it'd be one of those
I'll
two.
get quotes on both.
So, okay, back to.
and then, one more thing on that same line. Are you going to take yourself off from the zoning? And then set
And
up
I'm-
a supervisor?
That's exactly what I'd like to do, yes. Yeah. In about a month or so, we'll do that, so,
So then Shelley has her own email.
yes, yes.
Okay.
And by then she'll be done, in the training process and taking over,
oh, it all.
so, okay.
But, that's a week. Right?
She's already been in it over a week.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
Yeah.
It's good to go.
So the price was the pay was the same, so I believe all we would have to do is have a motion to accept Shelley as the,
I'll make the motion to accept Shelley at the same
To a
term,
point.
to a point. So the same amount of dollars, $30
$30
per hour.
Yeah, I'll support.
okay. So, well, money, then we probably should do a roll call vote.
Yep. Hey, Calinda,
Yes,
Dykstra,
Yes.
Cargill,
Yes.
yes, Draper.
Yes. Okay, that's all.
Welcome.
Yes, welcome. So, that's done for unfinished business, new business, Silverback time extension, so. Kyle, or they call him Chum, I guess, has called and asked, and it would be for this weekend, June 13th through the 15th, and what they asked for was to go to midnight. Now, if they can't finish it by midnight, then they would stop at 11 and finish it on Sunday, but if they just had a few races to go, they'd like to go till midnight.
I'd make that motion to accept.
I'll support.
All in favor, say yes.
Yeah.
Yes, all opposed, say no. Okay, so they have that. And then, the MTA dues and online courses renewal.
We've always done the top line is the actual dues based on the formula. Okay, and then the legal defense fund, that's optional, and I think we've always paid that. But then when you get down below to the next thing where it's the premium, I can't remember what they call the other, but anyway, we've always done the premium, which is $1,900. And, I just thought, I don't know how many of you people are actually using these webinars. The premium has 100 webinars, and then you get the, noon luncheon series for free.
Okay.
And then the next one has, the plus has 47, I think it said, webinars. And you would have to pay, but those new luncheon series are $25. So, not a big deal. And then the essentials, I can't remember what they had for the essentials. They were, that was 27 webinars that covers the basics that we consider essential topics designed for all board members and required knowledge for townships. Personally, I think we could get by with $1,000 plus and still have a lot of webinars for people to watch and encourage our people to use them.
I would agree with you, up to a point. I'm gonna ask this question.
Hmm.
What's involved in training for that young lady? Is there a lot of webinars that she's gonna need, and we're gonna go over?
I'm sure there's a lot of webinars, but they
Because
would be included in that 47. They're not.
Included in the other,
In
and
the-
if we were in last year at this time, I would be like, yes. But going into a new zoning administrator, there's a lot of training, there's a lot of things that she can take a look at.
The plus level offers access to 47 webinars that take you beyond the essentials, digging into planning and zoning topics, cemeteries and more. Your entire board, planning commission and zoning administrators can watch together or separately at no additional cost. I don't think probably there's a lot of stuff that she's gonna wanna see. We could check into it. I can call and ask them. What are those?
Yeah, she's gonna have to take the citizen
They'll
planner,
have to take.
Right,
and that isn't gonna be part of that, that's something on its
That-
own.
From MSU.
Yeah,
And besides that, there will be training sessions. There's I think one of the retreats is for the planning and zoning officials, and that's a 2-day training,
Okay.
and I think those are in September, October.
But those are
They're in the
over and
fall.
above this.
Oh, yeah, those are above,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I just don't wanna short suit
I don't
ourselves
think we'll
going
short
into-
circuit. I think we'll be fine.
I mean, I do about 2 or 3 of these a year, and I don't know if anybody, do you do any of them?
I like the noon ones, but the last couple have been when I was somewhere else doing something else, like they're on Wednesdays at noon.
I've
And,
done 2 or 3.
Yeah,
Yeah, so, and if we've got 47 of them, I would
Yeah.
think she should be able to get what she needs out of
I'll
that.
give whatever I have to give to her, cause I'll watch Netflix.
Yeah.
and
And,
we're not paying for your Netflix.
yeah,
Oh,
and
but
anything
anyway,
more than that's $25 a shot.
right,
And
those noon
it'd
things
take a
are,
long ways to meet that $900,
right.
so.
Making sure, just.
Okay.
I say something? On that, her taking that citizen planner. I think your insurance will pay for that, your liability insurance will pay for that for her. Cause when we did that before, a couple of the members got it paid for through the insurance company because that is better liability for them.
Oh,
So I'm pretty sure they'll pay for that for
do
her.
we have MML then?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
cause we used to have part plan,
maybe, I don't know. I don't
but
think
it's
that-
worth checking
We
into,
got paid for, they paid, the liability paid for it
yeah,
because the coverage was.
good
Yeah.
idea.
That's all.
And they only offer it once a year, but now they're offering it online, so it would be possible to take it online, but. When I took it, in person, I think I got a lot more out of
I
it.
think-
It's interactive and,
So I
Yeah.
remember I took it way back when Lori was
Yeah.
our clerk and we took it together and
yeah.
I think it's something that you really benefit by going right to that
Yeah.
class.
And I did, it was 8 Tuesdays, I believe, and that kind of wasn't great, but now they're doing it where you spend the night and do 2 days and you
Oh,
get it all in one
one,
time,
Okay.
so.
So Connie, you want the plus, not the premium?
right.
I'll make a motion, we go with the plus instead of the premium.
I will support.
We have a roll call vote on that.
Melinda,
Yes.
Litchfield,
Yes.
yes. Rayburn,
Yes,
Cargill.
Yes.
so then we have Heroes on the Dune for their parade.
Yeah, they're just. This is a resolution that the Oceana County Road is requiring now for people to use the roads.
They stay signed at that.
No, that's not the same thing.
So they have to get
They-
approvals for the sheriff's department though.
Yeah,
There isn't high enough numbers to require an outdoor permit,
no,
outdoor gathering. So
no,
they
but
cannot-
this is so that the police can help them with the
This is
parade.
for their parade.
Oh,
They
okay.
need that for the Oceana Road.
Well, if we have the parade, I'll make a motion, we have a parade.
Thank you. I'll second that.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes, all opposed, say no. Okay, and that's it on that, so now we move into public comment. Please keep it to 3 minutes, 1 time per person, and who's up first?
Are we voting for me to stand up?
Yes.
3 quick things. If you're talking to the road commission, please encourage sand removal at the end of North Shore Drive. And to pursue pedestrian slash bike lanes on Ridge between Fox and Taylor. There's an awful lot of pedestrian traffic through there and there is very little room to move, so that would be a safety issue. And third is a promotional item. The Friends of Silver Lake is running their carp call. We had a record number of 77 carp pulls on the lake this last week. And we're gonna be doing it for the next 3 weeks. So please encourage children and grandchildren to go out and stab all the carp they can in the lake and bring them to us. We pay money. And want to publicly thank our Oceana County Commissioner, Tim Beggs, who is managing the disposal of all of the fish that we've taken out. We're at 104 fish so far this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay,
Well, I was gonna come and talk about 18th Avenue. I really think the quality of Silver Lake water is really important, so I'm glad things are moving along in that department. And mine isn't the issue of necessarily the road and how it's erosion, although I do put my kayak in there, so I would appreciate that parking lot to not be eroded. But I think that, it's been indicated that that runoff is what's causing so much algae bloom. One of the issues that's causing so much algae bloom in Silver Lake. So I really hope that issue gets resolved. And obviously, we don't want Silver Lake to die, or we will have no boaters and swimmers and kayakers. And it'll all just be dune buggies, but I think we have room for both the dune buggies and the swimmers and the kayakers and the cottage people with families. So I'm glad you guys are moving ahead on resolving that issue, and I have a stake in that issue. I am the homeowner that is adjacent to where Craig Seahawk is putting his sewage, private sewage ponds, and I am actually glad he's doing that because even that will help clean up Silver Lake. So I'm hoping he's gonna proceed with that, and let's get Silver Lake cleaned up so we can all enjoy it and my grandchildren can enjoy it. I just built a house and my property values are in jeopardy, but even I am in favor of the sewage ponds because I want that lake to stay clean so we can swim and kayak. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, have a good night.